The University of Oregon is located in Eugene, a city of 80,000 people, situated in the lush Willamette River Valley, midway between Cascade Mountains and the Pacific Ocean.
Touchdown, Stewart. Yeah, I got your speed right here.
Hey, ball corner 10, outside 5. Are you kidding me?
I'm really proud of where this team's at. We got a lot of work to do.
What's the deal, Duck family? I am Kenjon alongside Jay Stu, and we want to welcome you to another episode of the Ducks of a Feather podcast. Today, we're going to be jumping into a little recap of our initial feelings, initial thoughts, what we thought about the Ohio State game before we jump into anything, as we always do. Stu, how we doing?
Doing good, brother. How are you doing?
Yeah, listen. Today, I'm blessed and I am highly favored, okay? I can answer that truthfully.
Let's do it. Let's do it then.
Yeah, man. Life is good, bro. Great weekend.
It was good seeing you, man, in the flesh.
Yeah, man.
Got to spend New Year's with my bro and his wife. Had a nice little dinner.
There's nothing like being in person. There's nothing like that face-to-face.
Yeah, man.
It was an opportunity for us to kind of get together.
The virtual thing is cool. You know, shout out to the folks that created this. But, you know, there's nothing like being right there in the same room.
Listen, they wanted it in person. They wanted this in the same room. But it just so happens that the two best candidates for it, you know, are on opposite sides of the country.
On the opposite sides.
In Charlotte,
that's why you need to move to Charlotte, man.
Huh?
Honda.
Listen, I've been talking to wifey. She asked me the other day, where do you want to move? I said the same places. Texas, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina.
Hey.
Besides that, it was great to see you. Had my guy on the Big Ten tailgate show.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
It was good.
Yeah.
But after that, we got into that Rose Bowl stadium. And we experienced this game. And what a game it was. It was not what any of us expected. It was not what any of us desired. It was not what any of us thought would even be close to happening. I think we talked, and I thought the game would have been a 10-point game our way. In no way, shape, or form did I think we would be down 65-0 before halftime.
We got what you call Ohio State at its finest time. They was peaking at the right time, and we got belt to that behind.
No.
Period.
No.
No.
Say it correctly.
No. It's a new year, man. New me.
Okay, well, let me say it for you. We got belt to ass. I'll say it for you. I tell it like it is. We got a good old fashioned grandmother go pick your switch ass whooping. It was embarrassing.
And don't let it be no little switch because she'll go pick it for you.
And that's what they did. We brought a little switch back and they said, you know what, don't worry about it.
Nah.
I'm going to go out here and grab one for you.
I got one right there in the front yard.
I'm gonna go grab one for you. This was ugly. And to your point, I mentioned this on the tailgate show. I said Ohio State is peaking at the right time. The thing about being a playoff team is not about peaking way before. It's about peaking at the right time. And Ohio State, this is not a team that we've seen all season long. Their best game up until this Oregon game was that Tennessee game all season long. And seeing what they're able to do to Tennessee, they carried that right over into this Oregon game, and then they upped the ante.
Yeah.
They took it up a whole nother level. As a whole, it wasn't just one or two players. As a team, this team is blossoming. This team bloomed and is playing a brand of football that if this Ohio State team shows up the rest of this college football playoff, I don't see anybody beating them.
Yeah. Watching that game, I realized as far as like our roster comparison, they have a really talented roster.
Yeah.
They have a really talented roster. And you add that with, you know, them coming off of Michigan loss, right? Tennessee got got that switch. And then we got that switch right after them. And
they beat the hell out of us.
It just goes to show you how crucial momentum is, right? Because if they don't have that game against Michigan where they get mollywopped in a fashion of just basically just getting beat up across the field, I don't think they have that same type of energy going into that Tennessee game, which then carries over to the momentum switch that I think was their ultimate advantage. You know, coming into Oregon, coming into the Rose Bowl, you know, seeing that we had 3.5 weeks off. 3.5 weeks. which in the grand scheme of things, bro, I'm going to be honest. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, nah, that ain't a good thing. But then I had to, think to myself, well, if we're banged up, we get an opportunity to freshen up, right?
Right.
But as you know, Kenyon, a bye week, you have to stay locked in.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you can come out swinging, especially when you facing a giant. And I think Oregon got lulled to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And the energy level was not the same.
How do you get lulled to sleep when you know the opponent that you're facing?
It's like, I'll tell you like this. It's like when you at the house over winter break, right? And y'all don't have these problems in California because it's sunshine all day. But like where I'm from, where it's raining, when it's winter break and it's cold outside, you don't get to go hang outside with your friends.
Yeah.
You're playing inside all day, every day with your brother and your brothers and sisters. And like week 2, you're like, man, I can't wait to go back to school just to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a different element when you talk about preparation and practice. You're not locked in. And you add holidays into that mix. You add all of that. And I think that was a part of, their situation. Now, it's not an excuse. Let's not get that twisted, because we still went out there and signed up to play this football game because it was a great opportunity. But when you're talking about how do you keep a group of young men locked in like that, you're going to have them struggles at the pro level, right? Just with 1 week off. And like during the regular season at the pro level, you got 1 week off and you have that 1 week to prepare for that opponent that you've been already preparing for throughout the season because you have it on the calendar, right? Now it gets a little crazy once it gets to the playoffs. These cats right now, real time, that have a bye week, they're going to have to stay locked in. And the team that is capable of doing that the best is going to come out swinging and going to be fresh, and they're going to be able to have the advantage of having fresh legs, right? But it's all about mentally staying in.
I can't subscribe to the we got lulled to sleep take because here's why. Ohio State's coming for some get back based off of what happened in Eugene, Oregon. You watch what they did to Tennessee. You had 12, 13 practices. Holidays, all that, I get all of that, but that's just a day. That's just one day. You see the animal right in front of you. You see the beast. You see it. And again, get back don't have an expiration date on it. These teams, it don't have expiration.
They had something personal to it.
It was personal, and know that. You understand
they definitely,
that.
And that was the energy difference too.
Yeah, Will Howard said it in the media. I've had nightmares about that game. It's still on my mind. You knew how this team would come, and you knew how they were coming. Jeremiah said in the media how he was talking. You knew you felt it. You felt it.
I don't care where y'all at. Y'all can put 3 on me, but y'all better not put a single coverage.
It don't make you listen. You felt the energy that Ohio State was coming with.
Yeah.
And again, you don't even got to be an athlete. You don't got to be any of that. Coming off of what Ohio State went through against Michigan, you knew it was going to do one or two things, and we kind of talked about it. You was either going to make them or break them. You're going one or two ways, one or two directions. And that Michigan game created a monster.
Yeah.
It added fuel to the player-only meetings that they're talking about. I don't know how you get lulled to sleep when you know the monster that you're facing. So I can't say this is what I say, and this is what I believe, and this is what I seen. My dad says this all the time. It's somebody bigger and badder out there. You just ain't met them yet.
Yeah.
And this Ohio State team was bigger, badder, and hungrier than what we were. And it showed. It showed. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That hunger aspect is a real thing. Yeah. Oregon being undefeated, a lot of those guys, the first season, right?
Yeah.
And especially first time playing some meaningful ball. And to be undefeated, you haven't had to lick any wounds. You know what I'm saying? You never had to go without. A dog that's really hungry is a dog that has gone without. And they
But we did, Stu. The last game of the season. We got
What you
our
mean?
we got
we
our
got
ass
it handed
kicked.
to us, but we got
won.
away with it. It's basically look. When you do something wrong and you get away with it, that's exactly what happened.
You think you can do it again?
You think you do it again?
Huh?
Huh?
I got away with it this time.
All right, yeah. I've been watching you. I got the camera, got that Zoom camera on you. Like, but it's it's a gift and a curse. You know what I'm saying? To go and defeat it, and it's a hard task to go up against an opponent twice.
Yeah,
and try to come out on the other side victorious. You see it all the time at the professional level in the divisions, right? And I think that was something brand new to Oregon. The first game too, I think going into it, I always thought that the the spread there as far as, what Ohio State had an opportunity to overcome from the first game, the margin of error that they had.
Yeah.
They had an upside there as far as like what didn't go well in that game for them. Ultimately, it's like we all talking about these things now after the fact because we have a chance to sit back and think, dang, where did we go wrong? Where did we even go wrong with our opinions?
Yeah.
Like what was our blind spots? You know what I'm saying? And my blind spot was, in my personal opinion, was just 3.5 weeks off. Really? They gotta fix that. I wouldn't wish that on Ohio State. You ain't gonna just have 3.5 weeks off before a boxing match. I need some sparring, some something.
Okay, so to your point, I was at Oregon's practice. I think it was the Monday before the game, and I'm talking to a couple of guys, and I'm like, "What was practice like?" It was physical. It was physical. We had a physical bowl season.
Was it real?
I mean, it's never nothing is real except them live bullets. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, like, physical in the sense of like we just having it because we supposed to have it, or we doing this because that's like the nature of our preparation.
And that's the question I can't answer because I wasn't physically there to watch the practice. But
yeah,
the tone of what was being said to me was, "We ready." Like,
of course they're gonna say that. They ain't gonna say we ain't ready,
right? But okay, to that point, you can talk to certain people and you can be like, "Oh, you ready? Are you ready? Are you really though?" Because I don't feel it.
The feeling but you felt it.
Yeah, the feeling was we ready.
Yeah,
like, we can't wait for this. We can't wait for this. We've been grinding. We've been getting after it. So the 3 week the time, I get that, but I just here
everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth,
and we kept getting continuously punched in our mouth, play after play after play. And I want to focus on Jeremiah Smith for a second. We seen how again, the proof was in the pudding. If you watched the Tennessee game, you knew what the game plan was. The game plan, what should have been the game plan all season long, in my opinion, for Ohio State, was get number 4 the ball. Any way we can. Any way possible, put the ball in his hand. And not saying Emeka isn't great or anybody else. Number 4 is that guy. And in my opinion, right now, they need to make an exception and let bro go to the draft because he's the number 1 pick right now, in my opinion. He's special.
You're the number 1 pick this year, next year,
any year.
Last year. That boy should have been drafted out of high school.
Number 1, change the rule. He 220, 6'3" at 15 years old. The boy's a grown man. But we knew the game plan.
Yeah.
And we did not, with this, the scheme, it wasn't there defensively. He ate us up by halftime. The kid had 167 yards.
Yeah. I was talking to Chris Carter before the game, and he was like, "How you feel about the game?" I was like, "Oh man, I feel we're gonna be all right." He said, "That boy Jeremiah Smith real special now." I said, "Look, I'm glad. I'm hopeful that we put the ball in his hands, and if we lose because of Jeremiah Smith, I'm okay with that." That's what I told him. I said, "If we lose because of Jeremiah Smith, I'm okay with that." Now,
You
after the
wrong.
game here, I didn't know it was going to be like that. I didn't know it was going to be like a loss in the first quarter.
Stu, listen.
Like that man, but he was like, he going to try to get my record because he holds the Rose Bowl receiving record. And so he was probably out there really like thinking about that because I'm pretty sure Chris Carter was on the sideline over there. Yeah. And whenever you have a talent like that and you have a legend, a Hall of Famer, like on the sideline, that's another thing to like raise your bar.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And he did that.
They call him JJ. Jay was out there getting fed like a baby all game long. All game long.
Boy had a first down every time he had the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and we talk about bulletin board material. Anytime a dude gets in the media and says, if I'm letting you know right now, if we see man coverage, we're going deep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think.
I mean, like I saw it happen to Tennessee, but I was like, that ain't gonna happen to us. They came out and said, nah. Like I looked at a stat line. I got a stat line here. So in Tennessee and Oregon, in the first quarter alone, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I'm ready.
35 points scored first quarter, 0 points allowed. 438 yards of total offense, 53 yards allowed. That's 2 games. Now, I'm caught off guard just by that stat. I think everybody should be caught off guard because that just doesn't happen. Especially when you got a number 1 team playing against number 2, a.k.a. number 1. Because them boys out there is on a different level.
I'm going to go back to Jeremiah Smith. I feel like we could talk about him all day long, but we learned a couple things about him. One, he's that guy. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, NFL ready right now. We also learned, in my opinion, that he's a liar. He tell half truth. He tell half truth.
What do you lie about?
He told the world about man coverage and what's going to happen. But what he did not say was, if you play zone, I'm still getting home. He didn't. He's a liar.
He's a liar.
He tells half truth. The dude is just special, bro. But again, scheme. You seen what Ohio State's plan was the week prior.
Yeah.
You seen what Chip's plan was. And that's unlike Chip. I want to get that I want to put that out there. Chip doesn't really care who he has. He's going to run his offense. They were intentional about getting Jeremiah Smith the ball against Tennessee.
You think that was Ryan Day's doing?
No, I honestly think that was Chip. I do. I think Chip was like, listen, I've been doing it my way, and my way ain't really working. So let me do what I should have been doing from the start.
Humble pie.
Yeah, I think Chip ate that. I think he ate it and he digested it very well.
Yeah.
He digested that thing. Yeah. And my thing is, when you know what a team's, I get Ohio State has players everywhere, but you have to take away something. We took away nothing and gave them everything.
Yeah.
Listen, I could go the tackling, the angles, like it was awful. Then you get to the quarterback position, and I thought I was watching Suicide Squad. I thought Deadshot was at quarterback for Ohio State. The way that boy was back there dropping that ball in there, it was crazy. Like Ohio State as a whole really put the whole country not on notice, but they woke everybody up. Like, oh wow, this is the team that people have been talking about all season long about what they could be and the players that they had. It was magical. As a football fan, it was magical to watch. As an Oregon fan, it was a nightmare.
Devastating.
It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I think the 4x1 look, whenever they would motion a guy and they would end up with a 4x1, like we was in cover 3, cover 1, and the guys just looked lost. Especially that first play when they went to G. Scott, 4x1. And they clearly knew that we was going to be outmanned in our coverage out the gate. And I believe that they was in 4x1 against Tennessee.
We looked unprepared.
To your point, it's like the preparation there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the adjustments that needed to be made throughout the game. Like, what do you tell your guys, whenever you see a 3x2 or when they're in empty and you see a guy go in motion, when he's in motion, you need to be in motion too. You know what I'm saying? As far as like your coverage, you need to be making some adjustments on the fly. And I think when we were trying to do that, guys just looked lost. And I mean, I would feel lost too if I wasn't prepared. Especially when you got Mecca and Jeremiah Johnson.
It just
what do you want to call them? Some tarantulas?
I don't know what you call them. You Undertaker and Kane.
Oh boy.
Undertaker and Kane, Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Just two Grim Reapers.
We really looked unprepared. And I'm on that sideline and I'm hearing like the support staff and I'm hearing some of the donors. Oh, I can't wait till halftime. Lenning is a great adjuster. We're gonna make some great adjustments. And
I don't know how you're gonna adjust to a ball being up in the air and the guy not wanting to go get it. Just gonna call it how it is. When the ball is in the air, you gotta be a hawk. Because if you're not a hawk, that eagle gonna go out there and get it before you.
But let's be real. We didn't have a hawk all season. Listen, we said on episode 1 that we would never make something more than what it is or less than it is. We would call a spade, and in this case, a duck a duck.
Yeah.
We didn't have that all season long. All season long, we
was ducking out of the way.
Okay. All right. Because I'm not sitting right in my spirit because I'm not being true to myself. I'm not.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. Order.
I want to do it so bad. I do. I'm fighting myself internally right now. Cause
don't fight yourself internally. That's not 2025.
Because I never want to talk bad about players.
Well, you don't talk bad about players. Just talk about the game. Look, what is the objective on defense? When the ball's in the air, what are you supposed to do?
First thing is to cover.
Right. Find your guy.
Find your guy.
But if you got to find your guy during the play, that means
you lost the play.
Behind.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over with.
And so that's where the alignment, assignment, and you know what? Luke Kuechly, defense. One of the best defensive linebackers of all time.
Ever.
And the things that he tells our kids there in practice, all I care about is alignment, assignment, and being physical, right?
Ooh.
Those are the 3 things. Keep it simple. I need you to line properly, know your assignment, and go out there and whoop somebody's behind.
Yeah.
And so, and you have to bring it to them every single time. And so I feel like we probably wanted to be physical. We wanted to be physical.
Are you talking about our front seven?
Position. We weren't in position. We weren't aligned properly to be able to make those types of plays.
I can't
and we
go
didn't
that
know
far
the
with
assignment.
you, Stu.
The 4x1 looks was having us looking all lost. And what I tell you about that gap, scheme, that gap scheme had us all lost. That 66-yard jump.
But again, Stu, we seen it. It was you had a whole game of it the week before.
Yeah.
A whole game. That's literally all they ran.
You're right.
Against Tennessee. Gap scheme, gap scheme, gap scheme. Oh, we're running a little gap scheme, gap scheme, gap scheme. That's what they did. So again, but I want to go back. I'm getting there again. It's starting to be fresh again. It's starting to be fresh again. But again, I want people to understand we are passionate about Oregon football. We're passionate about this university. We're passionate about this program. All of this is coming from a place of love and a place of us desiring for this program to be great. And again, this takes nothing away from the season that we had. It takes absolutely nothing away from this team for 13 games straight, showing up, battling, getting tested, and finding a way to win football games. It takes nothing away from that. This team had a hell of a season. One of the best seasons in all of Oregon history. First-year team in the Big Ten, going out, winning the Big Ten, beating Michigan, beating Ohio State, beating Penn State, something that had never been done before. This team had a hell of a season.
Just didn't finish.
We just didn't finish. And we could really be on here talking all day about, wanting to be physical. But again, Stu, you watch the games like I did.
We wanted to be. That's what I'm trying to say. We wanted to go out there and practice and say we had a physical practice. But when you show up and get punched in the mouth, a.k.a. Jeremiah Smith, catching a doggone swing pass.
That boy caught the ball 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and took it to the crib.
Boy was out there swinging and miss.
And did that.
Yeah, peace. I'm out.
Peace up.
You wanna know what? That second touchdown celebration where he jumped up in the air like Dragon Ball Z and said, "Ah!"
Boy went super. No, he hit the
Super Saiyan.
Is that the Cristiano Ronaldo?
Oh yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo. That was it.
Yeah, but it could have been either one of them.
Yeah,
it could have. But Ohio State was just on a different level.
It was.
I want to talk about what they did to us defensively. I mean, we've been focused on that offensive side of the ball pretty much this entire time. One of my fears and one of my points of emphasis for Oregon to win this football game was them being able to handle the Ohio State pressure up front. And we did not. We did not handle that well.
Yeah.
We gave up. Ohio State did to us what we did to Washington. We gave up 8 sacks. And I don't know about you, Stu. I'm a Yellowstone fan. And I also consider myself to be a little bit of a cowboy.
Cowboy, yeah.
Yes, sir. Cowboy hat,
Yeehaw.
flannel, cut sleeve, buckle. I ain't gonna say
Mountain
Wranglers.
Ranges all around me.
I ain't gonna say Wranglers, the boots, all that. I consider myself, I got a little cowboy in me, okay?
Yeah, a little handkerchief, little bandana.
All that. All that. Might chew some tobacco. I'm lying. No, I won't.
Yeah.
No, I won't.
Go fishing.
I won't.
You not like that?
I'm not
You
chewing no
ain't been
tobacco.
hunting?
I'm not chewing no tobacco. No, I can't
Oh,
kill
I ain't
my
doing
animal.
tobacco either. I might do some other thing.
Okay, story time with KB and Stu. This might have been, I think it was my junior year. This is when the dipping fad really came around. For whatever reason, I'm taking astronomy. Why? Chris Young, why?
Yeah, because you're about to go to the moon. Yep. Honda.
You beat me to it.
Yep.
So listen, I'm in class. It's one of them. I'm in Columbia 150. I know the exact building. Columbia 150. It is a big amphitheater type seating. I think it's like 250, 500 people in it.
That's the one that's on the corner right there across the
from the fishbowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right in
there.
We
walked in there.
Yeah. I'm right in there. And all my dudes is dipping. I'm like, I ain't never did it.
I want to see what that look like.
Let me see what that do. What does it do?
Like?
Oh, you're gonna be fine. It does nothing. It wakes you up. Pop a dip in. Stuff that lip. I'm sitting there. I'm sitting next to some football players and then a regular student on my left. And I'm going through it. I'm sweating.
Yeah.
I'm getting nauseous. I'm going through it.
Yeah.
Dude next to me on my left, he say, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm dipping. He said, oh, is this your first time? I said, yeah. He said, yeah, you might want to leave class. Boy, before I could get out of the doors.
Oh yeah, it was over with.
It was over with. So no, dipping tobacco, no. I'm okay. Yeah, not for me.
My first time was in 7th grade. And that was my last time. It was I just tried it and tried a little bit too. It was just a little bit.
I won't tell you, we not. Go ahead, Stu.
Nah, it's good. But that 7th grade, it was a wrap. I'm walking, just dipping. I'm like, oh, I gotta go home. Like it's summertime at midday.
Hot. Worst time.
Hey fellas, I'm out. I gotta go to the house.
I can't do this.
Walk back home. I'm over here puking on the side of the road. Boy. I get to the house. I'm all scared because mama gonna get home. But like, what's wrong with you?
I don't feel good, mama.
Yeah, she gonna know.
I'm sick. But no dipping. But back to being a cowboy, right?
Yeah. Everything but dip.
When you watch Yellowstone, you see all the cowboys guiding them in.
Yeah.
That's what the Ohio State defensive line did to Dylan Gabriel.
Oh yeah.
Crowded my guy to where he couldn't break out, and they funneled him right back in. And when they couldn't get there, they just stopped.
Right.
Put their hands up. They were physical. They was out there hitting. They played with intent. They played with the purpose. They played with the mission in mind. I don't think I've watched a football game where a game plan had been executed as flawlessly as Ohio State executed their game plan offensively and defensively. I don't think I've ever watched a game that flawless. I don't think I've ever watched a game where I'm like, oh, these guys, they just can't miss right now. There's nothing that we could do.
Their front six, with the addition to Caleb Downs, basically playing in the middle of the field. Remember, we talked about this. We talked about this before the game.
Yes, we did.
Like, the fact that he is a guy that can play the middle of the field means he's a special player, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That means he is smart, and he knows how he reacts to what he sees. Yeah. And when whatever he sees the first time, it's the right thing that he sees. He doesn't second guess. And when you have a player like that, you can get away with being in cover 2, and he can decide if it goes to cover 3. You know what I'm saying? Like the communication, he's right there in the middle of the field. He's basically another linebacker, but he can run.
Yeah.
And he gonna hit you.
Yeah.
And so that front six allows him to be able to do that. 8 sacks.
At one point in time, we were at negative 35. I think at one point in time in the game, I think at one point in time, it was 100 and something rushing yards to negative 25 yards rushing.
Also, we had 28 rushes for minus 23.
Yeah.
So that's with the sacks.
That's with the sacks. But even without the sacks, I think we only had like 15 yards.
Yeah, that's a long day at the office.
Nah,
I remember we played the Philadelphia Eagles one year, and I finished the game with like -2. It was like 7 carries, -2 yards. I was like, wait a minute, I gotta self-evaluate here.
something ain't right.
I might need to retire.
made you question some things?
Yeah, it made me question. You know, we had Christian McCaffrey his first year there. And I was like, man, maybe he should have just been playing.
Maybe I should pass. Did I pass the torch?
Yeah, here, man, just take it.
Just take it over. No, but man, this defense, Cody Simon, Jack Sawyer, like these dudes came to play. Like this team came to play.
We gave up 0 sacks the first time we played them.
Yeah.
And they took that personal.
Did they? Did they?
Yeah.
It was
the right side of the ball too, though. I'll say that. I don't want to throw the whole offensive line under the bus because Josh Cornelly,
he was doing his thing.
That
boy's a man.
That boy's a man
out there.
He proved that he was a man when he put Abdul Carter on his back.
Yeah, that boy's a man. That boy's a man out there.
Boy, first round draft pick.
With all that said, I don't care who is in front of Ohio State. When a team is clicking like this, when the play calling is what it is right now, when Chip is in his bag, listen, for anybody that question if Coach Kelly had anything left in the tank, boy, that boy had a bag of chips with some dip. Okay? Chip was in his bag. He's been in his bag for the past 2 weeks. It didn't matter who was in front of Ohio State fans. That's what I want us all to understand. It did not matter who was in front of this team.
We tried to cross the street without looking both ways.
And got destroyed, annihilated by a Mack truck, bus, 18-wheeler. It just wasn't our day, point blank period. And with this show, I'm very intentional about the hats that I wear, the clothing that I wear. And I got this shirt on. I got that shirt on for a reason. Because at the end of the day, despite what happened on January 1st, it's still always us. It's still always us versus anybody. We just had a bad day. We had an awful day while Ohio State had a great day.
A bad day to have a bad day.
Not like I said earlier, it's not the way any of us wanted it to go, not the way any of us thought it would go, not the way any of us desired it to go. Ohio State did not expect that game to go the way that it did. Because during media day, I was talking to some of their players and I'm like, oh yeah, we think it's going to be another dogfight. Tell y'all a little story about G.
G. Scott. Yeah, tell him.
I was asking the question to the Ohio State players, what's your favorite Rose Bowl memory? And again, this shouldn't even have been his answer, but it told me something about what his mindset was. He said 2015 when we spanked y'all ass. And I said, I wasn't there, first of all.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that wasn't even the Rose Bowl. That was national championship year. And then right after that, he proceeded to say, "Oh, you'll be here for this one, though."
Oh.
And then was
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
see,
no, no,
that's
no,
what
no,
you
no."
call.
He said, "I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that." He said, "That can't go
Oh.
nowhere. That can't go nowhere." Like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
you put him on the spot now. G. Scott,
yeah. But again,
he was
he
ready.
wasn't wrong. He wasn't lying.
He was ready.
I was there for that one.
And you talk about a veteran that has that type of mindset.
Yeah.
He's telling these young guys that, like, hey, look, we whooped these boys before. We ain't going to let them whoop us, right?
Yeah.
When it matters the most, we going to have that toast.
Yeah.
And hopefully we take, this butt whooping and learn from it. Because there's a lot of football, a lot of good football here in the future for the University of Oregon. And it just sucks because we didn't get a chance to say goodbye properly the way we had anticipated. It's like a little feeling of like not having any closure, right?
Yeah.
It's like being in the playoffs and you're anticipating getting to the next round. Like you have a fantastic team. Like my rookie year, we were 12-4 and for the Panthers, and we were rolling. Me and D'Angelo, 3rd and 5, we're going to hand the ball off. We're going to get the first down.
Yeah.
That's the type of year we were having. Get to the playoffs, had a bye week, right? Whole week to sit out. Get to the game, piss right down our leg. Like piss all over the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to one of them public restrooms, I'm talking about one of them park public restrooms. Pee all over that park. Yeah. The pee is all over the floor. And you got to take a dump. What you going to do? You going to the house.
Going to the
You're
crib.
not going there.
And y'all went to the crib, huh?
Yeah, we went to the house.
Yeah. You said
And it just happened so abruptly. Like I wasn't expecting it. It's like, dang, that's it?
Yeah.
So now what do? I didn't have the off-season plans or nothing.
Yeah.
Like it was just one of them things like, dang, so I guess I go back to Oregon.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a bad feeling. But
it's a terrible feeling. Terrible feeling.
We'll get by.
This season had expectations. We all felt like this year could have. This was probably the one year where I think the entire fan base felt like, you know what? This is the year. A loss doesn't lock you into a box. You learn from it, you grow from it. And at the end of the day, we still have Dan Lanning. And as long as we have him, the future is bright as hell. As long as Dan Lanning is here, the future for this program is in the right hands. This program will be okay. This program will rebound from this. They will bounce back. This team isn't just built to win right now. This team is built to make lasting runs at national championships. So this will not be the last time that this fan base gets that feeling of being a championship contender or being right there to where we feel like we could get it done. This will be the first of many. And there's some lessons to learn. And sometimes the journey isn't straight.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's potholes. Sometimes it's stumbling blocks. Sometimes it's this, that, and the other. But seasons like this really can they can make a program.
Yeah.
This can birth something that we have not seen before. And I 1000% expect it to be that. I expect what we see next year, not only from players, but as a coaching staff, the energy and the mindset around this team will be completely different. I mean, look at what the Georgia game did for us. What you've seen from that team bouncing back from a loss like that, I think this will be no different. I think this will actually have more weight than what that Georgia loss did.
Mm-hmm.
The Georgia loss was bad, but it wasn't on the stage. And it really wasn't, that Georgia loss didn't feel like this one.
Yeah.
And understand this, fans, is hurt as we are, as mad as we are, those players and those coaches,
way more hurt.
You can't imagine. You can't even fathom where they went to mentally. You can't fathom. I had the opportunity to hug Coach Lanning after the game when he was walking by, and I can see the emotion on his face. I can feel it. Understand that these players and these coaches are taking this loss a hell of a lot harder than we ever could as fans. Yeah. I know you guys are all invested as a fan base.
But y'all don't blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, this team put blood, sweat, tears, time, these coaches away from their families, away from their kids, these kids, putting everything they have into this game. So understand that this loss means way more to them than it ever will to any of us. Mm-hmm. Because we aren't on that day-to-day grind. We aren't in that locker room. We aren't practicing long hours and meetings, long hours and traveling and doing this, that, and the other. So understand that just as bad as you're hurting, this team is hurting a hell of a lot worse than what we ever will.
Yep. Well said. Well said.
Appreciate it.
So, Kenjon,
Jay Stewart.
what is it going to take for us to get back there? What's this offseason going to look like?
I'm going to go directly to the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
From a secondary standpoint, we got to reload. We have to reload, and I think we have to get better than what we were. And I think the number one, in my opinion, the best get that we got is coming over from Purdue with Dylan, DT. I think you got. I don't think. Let me say it correctly. I know we got something in him.
Yeah, there you go.
Problem.
Man, we're gonna start saying we knowing.
Yeah, I ain't thinking. I'm knowing. I like that. I'm knowing what we got in DT. Watching film on him and seeing him in games. He's a dog. He's a savage, and that is a piece that you build your defense around. That is somebody who's going to bring a level of mentality that I don't believe that we had this year. That's somebody, and I said it before, he reminds me of John Boyette, and John Boyette was a go-getter. John Boyette was somebody.
Guys like, pow.
John Boyette was coming up. I'm going to make you feel me. John Boyette was a ball hawk. He was in the Air Force. John Boyette was all over the field, and this is the vibe that DT gives me. So defensively, one, we got to reload, but we got to reload in all the right places.
Yeah.
But defensively, we got to secondary. We got to get right. We got to get right with the secondary. I think, and that was proven in this Rose Bowl game. And so, if I ask you that question, where do you think we start, and where do you think we go from here?
I like that one. DT, get the safety presence out there. Somebody that's a ball hawk, that's a go getter, that can come up and play the run. The run support from the secondary is huge because especially when you're playing against talented guys that can create their own yards.
Yeah.
When there's nothing there, when you got a stalemate with the defensive line, sometimes the defensive line does a great job, but sometimes you're playing against a really good running back or a good quarterback that can still, take his presence outside, right? Having that guy that can come up in the running game and have support is huge, but still being able to have that presence to where, if it's a passing situation, the quarterback's thinking twice. I would say, Bear, right? D tackle. Bear Alexander. I think that's a good addition.
Yeah.
Just with, some key pieces, moving forward with their professional careers. We're going to have some shoes to fill. And so getting Bear Alexander from USC, a big body, 3 technique type of guy. His stature, 6'3", he's not too tall, so he's going to have some good leverage. And you know what leverage is for, so that way you can get up in that backfield. Getting some guys there is huge.
I want to go backwards for a second because I got to show somebody some love. We kind of talked about all the bad. I got to give all the love in the world to Trayshawn.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching that dude like a hawk on the sideline. And he was one of the very few players that I seen mentally going somewhere, like mentally, like having a. He was on the sideline to where people were trying to talk to him. He's like, don't
get away,
touch me. Like,
yeah,
we out here getting our, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like really having to get by himself to.
Yeah,
and I got close to him like, don't let it consume you. Use it.
Yeah.
And he was really the only bright spot for us offensively. I've always felt like this. It's certain guys in certain games that is just their day. And I really felt like we should have fed him a lot more. We should have tried to force it because he had it going. He really is the one who got us going right before halftime. We could not go further without us going backwards and doing what we should have did at the beginning of it and show that dude all the love in the world for consistently being on his teammates, consistently. Come on, let's go. We got this. Let's go. Oh, he over there. Bro, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So, I definitely wanted to go backwards, but to come back forward. I'm excited to see where they go defensively. Offensively, obviously, what's going to be at quarterback with Dante Moore. And we were talking about this before we got on the show. If mentally he's caught up with his physical ability, this offense is going to be in great hands because the dude can throw the ball like no other. The dude has a cannon. He has arm talent. He has all of that. If mentally he's caught up to his physical abilities, this team will be in good hands and we'll be right back at that Big Ten championship level, college football playoff, fighting for another national championship.
Quarterback position, I think I'm not too worried about. It's just going to be the running game to me. Because even before the season started, that was our mindset. And it came to fruition a little bit as far as what we knew we needed to be towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
When the elements, start being in the mix, the travel, right? Being able to be on an away game and be able to like dish the butt whooping and not just always receive it, is crucial because it's taxing. It's a long season for these guys. And when you're late in the season playing crucial games and you get your butt handed to you, but you escape the fire, it's not a necessary confidence builder. You know what I'm saying? It's more so, man, we got away with that.
Yeah.
And now you got in the back of your mind, that mental aspect of, am I good enough?
Yeah.
Right? And so when you play in a team that you can't match the energy with in the department of being physical, and you're winning games a different way, which for us, we were able to run the ball, but we was able to have a quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, in that Penn State game. I'll go back to that Penn State game because I think that was a game where we finally played someone that really had our number and exposed us. And so if we can figure out how to like play games where, all right, we're going to run the ball too. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what Ohio State wanted to do against Michigan. They would just run the wrong scheme.
Yeah.
And I think being able to get these players developed to where they understand schemes, not just zone scheme, not just got to know all of it. Because throughout a season, certain players, certain teams, you're going to have to scheme certain guys up differently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might not have the guys best suited, to go mano-a-mano, like in zone, right? Working up to the next level. You might be facing some dogs at the defensive line, right? So when you facing some dogs, you better pull that gap scheme out.
Change it up a little bit.
So getting guys in here, initially, Mekhi Hughes.
I was just about to ask you.
It'd be interesting to see kind of what else they add with the time that they have and what else, shakes out. But I think that's a good move just for the sense of, competition. A guy that has proven himself, 2,000-yard seasons isn't something that you just overlook.
Right.
I think he's comparable to, Bucky Irving, in which, he's elevated his game throughout his process of being in the pros now.
Yeah.
To my understanding, a guy like Bucky Irving, he's a hard worker. One of the things that I heard from a lot of guys when they came to play the Panthers in Charlotte, I was asking the coaches and I was like, man, how is Bucky doing? Bucky's the first one in the building. He's the last one out. And so it's no mistake that he's elevated his game.
Yeah.
So as far as the type of guys that we get into that building, I want a guy that has that work ethic. You know what I'm saying? And not just a guy that's in the weight room, not just a guy that's, out there training hard and getting faster. I want a guy that's getting smarter. I want a guy that's trying to understand how he can exploit defenses and how he can get his yards despite what's happening in front of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. With what we have at the running back position, I've been high on Jay since day one. But also, I really like that young buck. I really like Riggs. He has the ability to make you miss in a phone booth. Got to see him up close and personal against Illinois, then against Maryland. I really like what I've seen from him, and he has that mentality. He has that switch to where you can look at him and you can see the dog. He's not going to back down from nothing. So I'm excited to see where we go and what we do with that, with the running back room. But getting back to the quarterback room a little bit, you got to tell me what you thought about JS
getting up out of there,
hitting that escape button and
that Control Alt Delete.
Delete all that. Delete all that. Him getting back down to NorCal.
This is my thought, man. And this is advice for all players out there. Nobody cares when they are looking at getting a guy to the pros as a scout No one's looking at how good your freshman season was, right? A scout's not saying, oh, well, he's a great player now, but how did he play his freshman year?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No one is asking that question. Now, it's all great and dandy if you was breaking records and stuff like that as a freshman, but if you ain't playing good as a junior, I don't want you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, the development opportunity is where guys are missing out on. You know, whoever his advice is coming from, whoever's telling them, like, hey, man, you got to play your freshman year, or you good enough to start for any team in the country.
That was it?
Man, I don't know. Like, or he just didn't want to compete against.
That's where I was gonna go.
Like, but if you don't want to compete, then in my mind, I don't want you here
At all.
Like,
Hit
if I'm
the
a head
bricks.
coach and you see and I'm seeing you dip off to another school, and at that you going to Cal? Come on, man.
But you
Where
know Cal was where
Cal at, man?
Cal was Berkeley.
Where Cal at, man?
Berkeley.
Nah, what
But you know
conference
that's
they
where
in,
he
man?
was initially committed to. That's where we took him from Cal.
All right, but he went back. Why?
Why did he go back?
He's scared. He saw Ohio State and Penn State. He saw.
Nah,
he
I'm
saw
gonna tell you
the
what I thought he
boogeyman.
saw. I think he saw how much belief this coaching staff has in Dante.
If I see that for somebody else, I'm thinking to myself, oh, that can be me one day.
But that's not the generation that we live in, Stu. That's not the day and age that we're in right now.
I better get right.
We live in a microwavable society where
Man,
everything
Jesus
is
coming
instant.
back soon, ain't he? Jesus coming back soon, ain't he? Because this is crazy.
This is not the world that we live in. These kids today, bro, it's all about instant gratification. It's all about getting mine and getting it right now. And we talked about this earlier. It goes to the point, a lot of guys don't know how to wait.
Nah.
A lot of guys don't know what it's like to not be the guy because they've been the guy their entire life. Jazz clearly has been that dude at every step of the way. He's been the guy. He's been the dude. He's been number one. So now when you come into a football program like Oregon that has depth, that has guys that are already established, it's hard, bro. A lot of guys don't know. A lot of guys can't operate not being him, not having that number one on their back. A lot of guys don't know what they can't. That feeling just doesn't sit right. So I think it was a couple things. I think he's seen the way Oregon, like I said, is geared and behind Dante, the way the players operate with Dante, the way they respond to him, the way the coaching staff views him. I think he's seen that. But I also
You think it was Tez Johnson's comments about he gonna
Heisman.
Heisman.
I think it all has something to do with it.
I'm not.
I think it all has something to do with it. I don't want to say sometimes the easier route is the road that people like to take. If I ain't got to fight for it, it's mine, and I can go put on. And I understand it both ways. You got an opportunity to go play now. That means one less year in college. That means you get to go be the guy. You get to go be the captain of the squad. I see it. I get it.
I just want to know if JS prayed about it. If you prayed about it, I'm cool with you. You ain't pray about it and you went on your own order, that means you out of order. Okay?
Preach, Reverend. Preach it. Yeah, so that's that. I also want to, with T. Ferg declaring for the draft, Jamari Johnson, a kid who was already committed to Oregon, then decommitted, flipped, went to Louisville. Now he's back again. It's kind of this revolving door with this portal, But in my opinion, I know Jamari's trainer, JT. I train with JT out here, out at the boathouse in Long Beach.
You still train there?
Train for what?
Oh, I'm about to say, I thought you was like trying to make a comeback or something.
What? Come back for what?
Honda.
Well, I'm playing basketball like I'm trying to get to the league.
Hey, story time with Jonathan and KB.
Okay.
This man, you know what? I love you, but I don't like you. So it was an off-season in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we all go play basketball. I had my brother in town, and we go play a little pickup game of basketball. And when I say we, I meant, hey, because it was off season. I think I might have had like off season little surgery or
You
something.
was
or I
dealing
was
with your
coming out.
ankle.
Yeah, bad ankle. Got bad feet, y'all. This man, Kenjon Barner, goes to the gym. He don't even stretch.
I was young.
He go out there, him, D'Angelo, a couple other guys. Toe, and Kenjon at the it was the YMCA?
I think we was at the Y. I think we was at the Y.
Man, Kenjon come
Or
out
was he
there
at high
looking
school? He
like
was at
got
something.
doggone Westbrook, just over there. 5'8"?
5'9", 5'10",
5'8" and a half.
depending on the shoes.
That boy 5'8" and a half, y'all. And this
You
man,
gonna give me my inch.
this man,
Jesus.
wow, ridiculously out of control. This man takes the ball, bounce, and just takes off to the rim. I'm like, okay, nice explosion. About to do a layup. Nope. This boy goes up to dunk it out the
Get
gate.
up.
I'm
Come
like,
up there.
wait a minute. Kenjon is a heck of a basketball player. He got handles. He can shoot. Well, I'm acting like you about to get recruited to play basketball.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah, look, if y'all need a pickup game guy, Kenjon's your guy.
I'm your guy. I'm your man. Listen, basketball is my first love.
Yeah, that's what he said too. I was like, what do you mean your first love? You play football.
Nah, I was a hooper who just happened to be good at football.
Yeah, you was a hooper, all right. Basketball didn't love you back.
No, it did. I just chose football over basketball. Yeah,
you chose right.
I did. I did. But getting back to Jamari. With T. Ferg making his exit, going to the league. Obviously, we still have Kenjon Sadiq, which I think is going to.
You got one more year left, ladies and gentlemen.
I think he's gonna blow next year. I think he's gonna absolutely ball out with T. Ferg not being in the mix, and him really being. I'm not even gonna say him. He's gonna be the only guy because I do believe that Jamari will be right there too. Because Jamari's nice, real nice, talented, super talented, big body,
bigger than Kenjon.
Huh?
He's bigger than Kenjon.
Yeah, maybe not muscular wise, but just in overall
filled
stature.
Out.
Yeah,
filled out.
Filled out much more of a true tight end type body.
So he'll be able to block.
Yeah, but Kenjon can do it too. He can block now.
Yeah, I know he can block, but I'm just saying you got to have two guys in there that can block, so that way you can't really match up.
Jamari's 6'5".
Ooh, he tall.
Yeah, big boy.
Big target.
6'5", 265. Big boy at that tight end spot. But I'm excited. I'm excited about him as well. Getting him and JT. Me and JT was texting a little while back. I'm like, bro, this is where he should have begun to begin with. I don't know what he went to Louisville for. I mean, obviously, he probably went there for the bag. Probably got a bigger bag over there.
He was trying to meet Lamar Jackson on an off week.
He probably did. Shout out to L Boogie. I'm excited about a couple of guys that we've gotten in, and really looking forward to seeing what we do as far as developing the talent that we already have in house. I love the portal. I appreciate the portal, but I want to see what we do with the guys that we already have. Another cat that I'm excited about that we all already know a lot about and we've seen, Mr. Bryce Betcher got approved for his last year, so he's coming back. Excited to see him back in the Duck uniform and leading that defense. And speaking of Mr. Betcher, he will be coming on the next episode where myself and Jay Stu will be able to chop it up, pick his brain, talk to him about this past game, talk to him about the season that he had because he had a phenomenal season. Was one of the highlights.
Breakout player of the year for the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, man.
Became part of a NFL draft discussion this year. You know what I'm saying?
Boom.
So dreams do come true, ladies and gentlemen.
Dreams do come true, but dreams only come true when you work for that dream.
Yeah,
and my guy put in the work. So he'll be on the next episode. And our next episode will not be next week. We are going to bi-weekly now. So we will not get to see our beautiful faces every single week. It'll be bi-weekly. You could wait a little bit. You know what they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Okay? It makes the heart grow fonder. Now listen, I need your heart to be longing for me. I need your heart to be desiring me. I need your heart to be crying.
Do I look nice?
Huh? Look at that smile. Look at that smile. Look at them cheeks.
Boy, looking like, whoa, pause. Crazy, out of control.
Something's wrong.
Somebody dropped the remote.
Is this thing on? Hello? Anybody home?
Yeah, that wasn't you. That was somebody else.
Yeah, that was. It's a lot of noise in the background, people.
Yeah.
But listen, so we'll be going bi-weekly. Again, you won't be able to see us every week. We won't get to be able to talk to you every week. But we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. We'll have some fun stuff coming for you during this off season. We will not let you guys hunger. We will continue to feed the fan base.
And in the meantime, what they should be doing is, going outside, enjoy the nice air.
It's Eugene, Oregon. It's raining.
Yeah,
they should not be outside.
Sometimes you need to go get rinsed off. Okay? Purify.
Where'd you come up with that?
Sometimes you got to go get rinsed off. Okay? The loss, however you deal with it, you got to rinse it off. So go outside, enjoy
outside in the rain.
Throw the football with your youngsters.
It might sound crazy.
Go outside, pick some roses.
Go outside.
Smell the roses and think to yourself, one day we will be back.
We don't want to smell no roses right now. We don't want to smell no roses.
Listen,
we don't want no roses. We don't
not
want no
right
roses.
now. I'm just saying, in your own time, to get to that place because it's going to be all right.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Stu, that's all we got time for, baby.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too, dog.
And as always, and now more than ever, remember, the ducks of a feather flock together, and we out.